Hi there, it's Kristen from k.becca, and today's project is a fun and quirky birthday card that's made using regular die cuts and print and cut files. To start, I've cut a set of birthday candle cut files from Nina 80-pound solar white cardstock. You can find this set of cut files in my shop, and I'll have a link to them in the description area below. For this project, I scaled the candles down to 50% their original size in Silhouette Studio, and I scaled the flame cut files down to 50% as well, and cut them from the Gold Shine cardstock from My Favorite Things. I really like the finish on this. It has more of a satin sheen. They also carry a gold foil cardstock that has more of a mirror-like finish, and I really like that too. In addition to the candle die cuts, I also made a print and cut card front using one of the images from the Hand-Lettered Phrases digital stamp set that you can also find in my shop. I'll link that below. To make the card front, I used the Draw a Rectangle tool in Silhouette Studio to make a rectangle that's 5 1/4 inches wide by 4 inches tall. And I scaled the digital stamp down to 3 inches wide and placed it at the bottom center of the rectangle. Then I just print and cut it, and I have the background for the card. You can use any number of different mediums to color the candles. I'm going to use this set of Crayola Super Tips washable markers that I bought a while back and have been wanting to use. This set includes 50 different colors and is very affordable. I think that when I bought these, they were only around $6 or $7 for the set on Amazon.com. I checked the price again before I made this video, and the best price was around $11, so if you keep checking Amazon, you may be able to get an even better price than the current one. But even at $11 per set, I still think these are a pretty good deal. Some of the markers in the set do have very similarly colored caps, but there are 50 different colors in the set, and I'm going to pick out the colors that I want to use in this project. I went by the cap colors when I was picking the colors and ended up having to switch out a couple of them along the way for colors that had more contrast to the color next to them. I recommend keeping a piece of scrap cardstock to the side while you're working so you can test the colors before you color the die cuts. Doing this kept me from accidentally coloring a piece with a color that I ended up not using. Or you could swatch out all of the colors so you have a chart that you can pull out whenever you're ready to use these markers in a project. Here's what the tips of the markers look like, and you can draw fine lines with the pointed tip and thicker, wider lines if you color with the side of the tip. It's nice to have both options. Okay, so I think that I'm only going to need 9 of the 10 candle die cuts for this card, but I'm not completely sure, so I'll color all 10 just in case. And to color the candles, I'll place a piece of scrap paper under where I'm working to protect my work surface. Then I'll hold the candle die cut in place with my thumb on the flame area and color the candle with the marker. Using longer strokes when you're coloring gives the surface more even, uniform coverage, and the marker color does even out as it dries a little too. There's a little wick area that I also want to color in, and to do that I'll use a black marker. Since the area is so small, I'm going to add the color in more of a dotting motion than a stroke motion. I got a little bit of the black onto the candle area, but it's not a big deal because I'll show you how to cover up mistakes like that a little later on. It also doesn't matter if you get any of the black up into the flame area because we'll cover that up later too. After I'm finished coloring the first candle, I'll scribble a little of the second marker color on the scrap paper. And this was one of the colors that I thought was too close to the color beside it, so I switched it out for a darker pink and then colored it and added the black in the wick area. I'll continue coloring all of the candles in the same way, working my way through the rainbow of colored markers, and when I'm done coloring the candles, it's time to add the flames. I'll use a glue pen for this, and I'll dot glue over the flame portion of the die cut before pressing the matching flame piece on top. Earlier, when I first cut out the candles in the separate flames, I placed the flames and their corresponding candles together so it would take away the guesswork of matching them up later. I'll continue gluing the flames in place on each of the candles, and when I'm finished doing that, we're ready to move on to the next step. I really like how the colors look on the candles, but I think that they look a little flat. So I'm going to use a Uniball Signo white gel pen to add some details to each of the candles. Gel pens are great for adding details and highlights, and the gel ink has a little bit of dimension when it's dry too, so it adds a bit of texture. Remember on that first candle, some of the black marker went into the pink candle area? I'm going to make a dot with the gel pen right over top of that and cover it up. No one will ever know that was there. I'll continue making dots all over the surface of the candle. I'm going pretty quickly here, and my dots are definitely not perfectly circular. This imperfection only adds to the hand-drawn, handmade, quirky look that I'm going for with this project. For the next candle, I'll draw diagonal stripes, and I have to apologize because I didn't realize until after I was finished filming that my hand was in the way for most of the rest of these. But I'm just drawing slightly diagonal lines on the second candle, and on the third candle, I'm drawing a sort of curvy diagonal combo pattern. I'll alternate between the dots, lines, and curvy lines for the rest of the candles, and even though my hand was in the way of the candles as I was drawing on them, you can see the patterns that I drew in the finished pieces that are sitting above my hand. Okay, I'm finished adding the white gel pen to all of the candles, and now I'm going to take the print and cut card background that I showed you earlier, and I'm going to arrange the candles in the way that I want them to be on the final card. I'm not gluing them in place yet, just placing them and spacing them until I'm happy with how they look. I thought that I might be able to fit all 10 candles onto the card, but nope, the little periwinkle purple guy is going to have to sit this one out. Now that I have the candles placed roughly where I want them on the finished card, I'll come back in with the glue pen and add glue all around the back of the first candle, and then I'll glue it in place on the card. I'll continue adding glue and gluing each candle in place until I'm done. After I'm finished gluing all of the candles, the only thing left to do is to attach the card front to a card base. I initially planned on attaching it to a white card base, but when I placed it onto the base, I wasn't really loving how it looked, so I cut another card base from the My Favorite Things Ripe Raspberry cardstock, and I like how this adds contrast and a thin frame around the card. I'll cover the back of my card front with double-sided adhesive, line it up over the center of the front of the card base, and press it in place to finish the card. You can find a full list of supplies used in this project in the description area below, or in the area below the video if you're watching on k.becca.com. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you'd like to see more card making project videos, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I hope you'll tune in again soon.